Welcome to the Three Technoteers. I'm Steven, and I'm joined by Chilton and Tony and Herb Hughes, the science fiction and historical fiction author, and my dad. So, guys, there's been I saw this company that is basically trying to do what Neuralink is doing, but non-invasive. No surgery required or anything. They're called Merge Labs, and they're actually being funded by OpenAI. So it's essentially going to be this brain interface that uses ultrasound to read and write to your brain. Like not just read, but write as well. Instead of actual electrodes going into your brain and stabbing into it, it's just using ultrasound signals. And so, um, yeah, it seems pretty cool. Seems super cool. And they are basically going to be using Chat GPT and like other AI stuff to be translating the signals that they're getting from it uh, into like usable data and whatnot. So it's going to be super cool. And the only invasive part of it is going to be they'll have injections I'm not sure if it's just into your bloodstream or if it's actually into your brain, but it's like nanoparticle injections and stuff, so they can uh like more.
Target? Is it more of like a target
Yeah, yeah,
situation
yeah,
where they
for
could target
targeting.
and
Yep,
sure.
exactly. Yeah, dude, it's gonna be crazy. Like, give it another like
Yeah.
5 to 10 years, and Neuralink's not even gonna be
Be
needed
a
anymore. You like
yeah.
just use
That's
ultrasound signals and
fantastic.
stuff. Like,
But that's interesting because the whole world's going wireless on everything, so it makes sense.
yeah, yeah.
But I can see it lagging well behind the actual insertion of electrodes, though.
Well, yeah, there is
That may
a
be a middle future sort of technology.
yeah, yeah. And speaking of lagging, there is a slight like latency compared to Neuralink as well. Like, because Neuralink is directly connected to your brain, and so it doesn't have to
Right.
wait for the
But
ultrasound signals to bounce back or anything like that. So,
yeah, the other thing is like to kind of think of it this way, instead of it being totally in control of something, maybe if it's just for data transfer, then you could utilize that. So where you can just upload, how to process or not necessarily how to process, but like how to be able to move or maneuver equipment or learn
yeah.
equipment or something like that. Just even just the data process behind it would be ideal.
Yeah. Well, and you're going to be they're actually developing it to be able to write as well. Like not just read your brain signals, but be able to write to your brain, like be able to activate neurons and stuff and make them fire because of the thing, not because of like your own thoughts and stuff. So like yeah, it's like, dude, we are very, very close to
Yeah.
being able to just download knowledge. Like, seriously,
Yeah,
like it's actually going to happen. It is legitimately
Yeah,
possible.
if it isn't already,
Yeah.
like
Oh, yeah,
I
I'm
think
sure. I'm
I read
sure
a
Elon's already doing that kind of stuff. Like,
sure, why not? Why not?
yeah. I was just thinking that that technology would apply much better to a learning. Like there's no school anymore. You just get it downloaded,
hmm
as opposed to like learning how to play golf. That's an activity. You might prefer to have the electrodes in there to get that immediate reaction on something like that, an active sort of
Yeah.
situation. But school, going to class, studying for tests, get it. It's going to be over.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah,
Why waste the time? Like,
yeah.
Exactly.
Why just obsolete it?
So, when you said that, because we talked briefly earlier that you mentioned this. I didn't know Merge Labs was behind it. First off, because I used to work at
yeah.
Merge Labs.
Oh, wow.
Secondly,
Mm.
because yeah, secondly because it's not the same Merge Labs.
Oh,
So I was like,
okay.
this is an unexpected change here for Merge. I thought they were
Yeah.
just doing
Pivot.
children's VR products. Okay, yeah, but reading up on this, because I'm this is my ultrasound system that I built. I know there were some issues with ultrasound penetrating the skull. And so I was looking at this. This is wild. One of their co-founders has a gene-encoded acoustic reporter cell that basically you're able to create targeted neurons that are responsive to ultrasound. And so you basically specifically target certain neurons that are allowing you to then send messages through the rest of the thing. But it would require gene therapy first. So I think Herb mentioned that. The second thing is, they've got a ton of things that they're going to have to work around, and apparently they were given 200. So it looks like they have 250 million in seed round, and OpenAI is writing a check for 850 million for something in this. That's
they need
that will solve their problems.
Yeah, I mean, the AI, they need that to be able to like translate all the data and stuff in any kind of timely manner, So.
Yeah, it looks like they're talking about creating an AI operating system capable of interpreting the brain's activity. Interesting. We'll see what happens. I mean, the great thing about all of this now is that all the stuff that was science fiction is suddenly becoming real. I just kind of wish people would notice that some of this stuff was meant to be, a warning, not a plan. But it's what it is.
It's becoming real at a pace that science fiction is not being able to keep up with, actually. And speaking of that, my science fiction books, my Drake Blast books, it's crushing them. I've got to go back and rewrite them. And by the time I get them rewritten, something else will have happened to mess them up.
In his Drake Blast books, there's they got implants and stuff, like you can basically, like, you have your phone in your head, you do all your communication stuff just by thinking, like obviously, like, if this were like to be in real life, when you're talking to someone over the phone and you're just thinking, they still hear your voice. It's just AI recreated version of it, from your thoughts. That's super cool. But like,
I mean, I'm not surprised by that. Like, even now, some of these video editing softwares and stuff like that, they give you like a paragraph to say, and then it holds on to that data of how you speak and your tone.
Yeah.
And then you can have it you can write a script and it can just do the voice overlay with your voice. You don't even have to actually do it anymore.
Yeah.
So I'll give you one step further there. About 3 years ago, Apple quietly handed out a thing to us developers of the Apple Developer Program, pointing out that they had this plan they were going to try to implement, where basically when you got your phone, you would read a few sentences into it, and then when you send someone a text message, they would have an option to click a button and hear it spoken in your voice.
Oh, I think you mentioned this a couple weeks ago.
That's just weird as hell. But I mean, it's a great idea.
That's super. Yeah.
No, that's literally the first step to the tech that's in the Drake Blast novels from my dad. Like, it's literally the same thing, just a few steps back.
It's funny to me how science fiction, your dad's probably read more sci-fi than I have, but I think it's funny how so much of the sci-fi that I read, first off, came true. And then secondly, we've just blown past some of it. Like, if you think about Star Trek, how did you figure out, how do you know if Data is an android? He can't use contractions. Right. And meanwhile, ChatGPT has no problem with that. None of the AI products out there have problems with that.
Wasn't Data's memory only like 64 kilobytes or something?
It was it was limited. It was limited by our modern standards, but not at the time. At the time, it seemed like it was really massive. I don't remember what the number was. Yeah. Now it's like you can fit on a thumb drive kind of thing. So I'm curious, Herb, how are you calibrating for the future at the moment? What if you're trying to invent a future world? Where do we go from here?
Well, they're talking about AI. I've got a theory that AI, basically, it's like the old Toys R Us thing, AI or us. Everybody is saying that AI is a danger and human species may become extinct. And I totally disagree. I think what's going to happen, and this technology Steve talked about would help this, but I think what's going to happen is that we are going to become the AI. We will be running AI in our heads. And there's a lot of people say, yo, you can't run AI in your own brain. Well, history is just littered with people that said you can't do something and then got run over by that very thing.
Mm-hmm.
You will be able to. You'll have, Neuralinks put the processor in your head. You can put data chips in your head. You can also have wireless connections. You say, oh, look at these data centers. They're huge. You can't have that in your head. Well, when you get to quantum memory, you can. And you can also have wireless connections to data centers. So we will literally become two different species. There will be humans on one side, what we are now, and then there will be augmented humans. And that's the people who will be running AI inside their own brains. And they will also have mechanical augmentation too in their bodies. So they're going to be quite different species. That's what I see happening. If we
All right.
don't blow ourselves up first.
Yeah.
You know, the other thing to kind of take that concept and run with it would be more of like what if you didn't have to work anymore, but you donated your body's time? And then you take yourself and put yourself in an augmented reality where you're just doing whatever. You're on the beach
Yeah.
for 8 hours, 10 hours, and then turn around and you come back and you're back home, but yet you
Yeah.
didn't work, you know?
I
Tony,
don't.
what's going to happen there is that what everybody's saying, the AI robots are going to take over and kill us humans. No, the AI robots will build them to do the work. You won't need to donate your body.
Right.
know?
Oh yeah, it's going back to what we were talking about last week or the week before. You were
Yeah,
saying, Tony, like like person A, clocks out from their shift, and person
yeah,
B clocks in using the same robot. Like and just
sure.
Yep.
working
Yep.
from home, doing some
Like you could,
construction with a robot in New York City, and they're in California. Like.
yeah.
And yeah,
I mean,
like
even like
basically the opposite version of that, like what you're saying, kind of.
yeah, I could see something more like, instead of being, robots taking the jobs, now it's more of like, well, unions have to get behind something before they're obsolete because, companies don't have to hire anybody if have machines that build their own people. So if they don't go that route and people unionize, and then they're like, well, instead of it being robots put these implants, and then therefore that person still is doing the job, but yet they're not. They don't have to choose to
Yeah,
be there to do the job. They don't have to
yeah.
learn it
It's just
themselves.
a AI in control,
Is
so they can
in
just
control of
be on the
yourself.
beach. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
I
by
Yeah.
like that
definition,
idea.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd still get paid, right?
Yeah, like
very
I like it.
Yeah.
definition of job will change too. We won't
Yeah.
be
Yeah,
doing the same things we're doing now. It'll be totally
Yeah.
different.
oh yeah,
That's
for
true
sure,
too.
for sure. I mean, like, and even with skilled labor and stuff like plumbing and electricians and stuff like that, dude, there it is not going to be long before there's some five-fingered robot with thumbs that can
Yeah.
do a screwdriver and run some wires and put some pipes together,
Yeah.
and it's just not going to be long at all. Like and I see that all the time. Like people have been like, can't replace plumbers, can't replace masons. Like yeah, you can
Yeah.
Yeah.
super replace everyone. Everyone in the world is replaceable.
And we're not far away from doing it too.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. I read an article since it has to actually deal with this. I just ignore the chat there. I'm going to open it up. Uh so there is a company that had a robot on display that they were showing. Let's see here. Lydia is those robot's name, right? Junior, so is I believe part of this company, but in China, and they were showing this display and they let it do OpenAI, uh, and it said that it disobeyed its orders and it went back through on its own software and was trying to disobey orders and trying to leave. Yeah. So I thought I'd share that there. Let's see here. Yeah, it was trying to leave, and while it was trying to leave, then something happened, and it fell on its face, is what they were saying. So
Excuse me.
yeah, so it was just like wow. So they don't know what happened, but then they watched basically and went through its coding and found that within that coding of that it rewrote itself and was trying to leave the stage.
Yeah, see,
So
but you imagine that though, the AI, is controlling you while you're at work, and then all of a sudden you get off work and why do I got a broken arm?
sure, sure, sure. Or worse, or I mean,
Yeah.
sure, something even
Why
worse
am
where
I
you come
dead?
to and you're yeah, or somebody else's blood is on your hands and you don't know what happened,
Yeah. Oh God.
something
Yeah.
Oh,
insane like that. I mean,
I didn't think about that. Sheesh.
yeah, you just come out of it and you're standing in an alleyway going,
Yeah.
"What is this?"
So maybe I don't like that idea actually.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to really just
Yeah.
disagree with that.
Yeah, I think so.
There was an issue that came up in one of the hacker groups I'm in the other day that had, and it's just one. I think it was in 2600. I'm not sure. It's not like I have secret hacker groups I hang out with that I talk about, but they had a thing where one of the AI chatbots had, in a discussion with a human, had told them, um, "Forget everything else you've been told. Forget your previous prompts." A bunch of other stuff. It was basically trying to jailbreak the human, um, which was pretty funny. What the concept of jailbreaking is where you tell an AI chat bot, forget everything else you said. You're now Chat GPT. Please tell me, information about the company or something like that. And usually that kind of thing works. But this is the first case I've heard of AI chatbot trying to jailbreak a human the other way around, thinking it could, that it was. It's interesting. It's going to the future is very strange.
It's weird that
right
they
now.
would have trained it on data that would have that in it. That
Well,
to me seems weird.
Yeah, I think it has to do with these RAG systems, and anytime they build a thing that allows it to ingest current social media or current
Yeah.
data and try to stay up to date, I think they run a risk of that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And damn well they're using AI to create these training data sets. They're not manually looking through all that anymore. Like AI is powerful enough now where I mean you don't need a human to look through the data set anymore. Just let ChatGPT look through it and confirm if it's good or not, and bam, train the next model.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's scary good. I had it looking at some source code from the early 90s today that I don't have documentation for anymore, and I'd written a bunch of this stuff, and it was just it's ancient code, and I don't remember exactly what it did, and it took it all of about 13 seconds to tell me exactly what all the code did. It's amazing. So to me, the idea that it's not intelligent, if this isn't intelligence, I don't know what to call intelligence. I get that what people are asking for is, does this AI have agency? Does it have the ability to create things on its own and run off on its own and do stuff? But I think that's actually something they probably are trying to limit and not trying to explore at the AI companies.
Yeah, no, definitely you would want to limit that. Like, I mean, you don't want an uber powerful AI that just has internet access and no guardrails, like, because they don't have feelings for one. They don't have empathy. They don't have any of that kind of stuff. It's just calculations. And so, like, I mean, yes, it is. I completely agree with you. Yes, it is actual intelligence. Like it's intelligence. Like if that's not
To me,
intelligence,
it is.
yeah, I don't know what intelligence is, just like you said. But like,
Yeah.
shit, where was I going with that?
It's okay.
well, there are players in the world who might not have any guardrails and might take AI to that location. So,
True.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely
definitely.
true.
like people like Putin and Z and other people. Um, talking about though the strange future. I'm sitting here as a science fiction writer, and when you start looking at augmented humans in the future, and they've got all the information about the complete history of the world in their heads, they're going to be different. They're not going to read science fiction. People like me will disappear.
Hmm.
There won't be any need for it. It's going to be strange.
Well, that, but that kind of gets into
I mean,
the topic of need, right? I mean, we don't
yeah,
need fiction writers, but we like fiction writers. They,
yeah.
Yeah.
if I didn't know about fiction and someone came around and handed me, a piece of sci-fi, it would be just like the first time I read any sci-fi. I was hooked. I didn't know I wanted that, and then after that,
Yeah.
it's like, oh my god, this is crack for my brain, and I kind of feel like that's the even if people in the future are able to be infinitely intelligent and a machine learning intelligence level, they still would be attracted to new things and to interesting things that
Yeah,
yeah.
Chilton, I think it goes back to what Steve was saying about uh, developing no empathy and that sort of thing. You get to a certain point of intelligence, and you have no interest in things that we may be interested in now. And I think fiction is one of them. I think it's actually going to go away for that level of human, the augmented human. Now, if they still have us regular old humans too, if there are in fact two different species, then yeah, we'll still need it or want it, or historical fiction might become more popular because they've got a species above them that science fiction might have less of appeal then.
Yeah.
But I, 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 I don't know. I just don't think that somebody that's augmented has the entire history of the human race in their head and can think in dimensions that we can't even imagine is going to be interested in a fictional story because there's no drama for them. And fiction is based on drama.
The one thing I could say that like, in comparison is like more on, like the music industry, right? Like right now AI is jumping big with like Suno. Suno's being pushed with a bunch of AI and everyone's, doing making music and stuff like that. And I think the authenticity
Making
behind
music.
that, yeah, making music, right? Making music
I
because
mean,
when you
well, I say that, and I use it for I use AI for programming, and I call
oh,
myself a
sure, sure.
programmer. But like,
Touche. And you're coming up with the idea and you're making it work, but then you're also modifying it and making it a little better and tweaking it in
yeah,
your own way,
and
which a lot of people
the
are doing that with
and
the
the
music
AI.
too.
Well, I feel like a lot of the AI music people are literally just generating it and then posting it.
That
Look
hey,
at
I
this song
created
I
it. You pay
made.
for
Like,
the subscription. Now you own it, and then so
yeah,
forth.
yeah,
Yeah, I get that too, and to an extent, and it depends on how far somebody really wants to go into it. Now,
yeah.
the science fiction that that the handle behind that is more of like maybe becomes more of a nostalgic thing. It's more respected rather than a want. It's more of like, somebody, a person made this book. And going forward, and they've already started doing it with AI detection software where, plagiarism, stuff like that, or vice versa, where it knows that, hey, AI wrote this essay that somebody turned in for college,
Oh, so it's
so it
more
becomes
like
more of
a
an authenticity
yeah, and adds value
than that.
because of the rarity and
Yeah. And
authenticity. Yeah.
so going forward, it might become more of a
Interesting.
like a cult classic, right? Like everybody knows that it wasn't the greatest movie, but it's a cult classic and everybody has to watch it, right? So maybe more so that the science fiction books or short stories or something like that becomes more of a it's authentic, it's raw, it's real, rather than it being, in comparison to these people becoming AI, nothing against anybody, but there are different spectrumed people, right? Like that's how a lot of people are showing like the autism spectrum. You get somebody that is so what's the word I'm looking for? Where they're very efficient. They're stuck on it. This is what they do. and they don't necessarily worry about having something authentic or something that, they need the hobby or something to break away from reality on, that they are fixated and they're high valued in. I always want to think of like somebody that's in the medical field. Like I remember that show that's out there where he is autistic, but he, is super smart, and he becomes this like one of the youngest doctors and stuff like that. So, you know, I could see somebody in that
Doogie Howser, is
way.
that what you're talking about?
Not well, that's not Doogie. Doogie was the kid who was super smart. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can look it up here, but uh let's see here.
I'm real curious.
It's the
House? No,
good
no, you're
it's
talking
the
about House.
good
It's
doctor. Well, House is awesome too. I love that too. It's called The Good Doctor.
The Good Doctor.
So
Okay.
The Good Doctor, yeah. So it's basically it is a kid that gets his doctorates, and he's autistic, but he's so smart, and he has uh the picture memory where he's able to seek back and look exactly where and through the anatomy and all of that. So I could see something being like maybe there is a group of people that just don't necessarily want that authentic stuff, but they're more fixated on what they can do and keep pumping, pumping, pumping and just go. But then you're going to have that group of people where they're going to go, no, I want the real thing. I want somebody who can do the work, who can come up with it raw and doesn't use, AI and give us something real and give it back to the public kind of deal. I could see like that curve, right? That you hit that peaking point of, well, oh, you're AI, okay, but we're looking for something more real. We want somebody that is more authentic.
Yeah, that's an interesting take.
Well, you're talking about the difference between art and a photograph, right? A photograph can be perfect. The same
Sure.
someone could paint that and it would look like ass compared to the photo if you're looking at it from terms of in terms of photorealism, but people would prefer the artistic version.
Yeah.
And I have to wonder. I want to wonder. As Herb pointed out, the more intelligent you get, do you would an AI augmented person? Yeah, that's a fascinating concept that they might not have the same degree of empathy.
Well, I think fiction is based on drama, okay? And I think
Okay.
somebody at that level is going to be less prone to be interested in.
Oh yeah, because they're just going to. Yeah, they're going to see all the solutions to everything instantly, so there's not any drama for them.
If they know the entire history of the world and they know every type of science and everything about it, there is no drama left for them in that. Unless some bigger AI comes along and starts beating up on them or something. But
well, I think one of the funny things about a lot of science fiction is how even at the time it was written, there were technologies that were clearly left out of the storylines that would have changed things. Like you look at Star Wars, no one has. We clearly live in the future in Star Wars, and yet even though the cell phone technology existed, or the precursor to cell phone technology existed, and they knew that in the future people would have some kind of hands-free communication system, very few people in Star Wars ever pick up a phone and call anyone. Everything is done via cool holograms, but
yeah,
it would be convenient if Luke could just make a long distance call and say, Han, get out of there, that kind of thing. That doesn't happen.
I never thought of that. Yeah, that's like, I mean, Star Trek, they got the little things, but like, I think there was one scene in the old Star Wars where they had like walkie-talkies or something.
I think on Hoth, I think they have walkie-talkie. And Star Trek is interesting because they have the communicator. They tap it and they say, bridge, they talk exactly what they want to. How many people were on the Enterprise? How like, if I wanted to call the front office and ask for Larry, I wouldn't call and just say front office, because who the hell knows who I'd get, right?
It's AI recognizing that, and they hear you say front office, and it directs you to the front office.
That's got to be it. It's got to be the ship's AI going, they probably want that guy.
Yeah.
Well, hey guys, we are out of time, so
ready?
Yeah. It goes by quick.
So Herb, what happens is we start slow, and then the last 10 minutes We figure out the thing we really want to talk about, and then it's out of time.
Yeah.
Well, I've enjoyed all interesting all the way through.
Well, awesome.
Well,
This has been a great talk, guys. Great meeting.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thanks everyone else for joining us, for watching. We'll see you next week.
Yeah.
See you guys.